Welcome, Wapham crew, guys, gals, ghouls, friends, fiends, foes. Whoever may be listening tonight beyond the Omniverse, secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. It is Sunday, May 12th, Monday, May 13th for those of you across the pond and beyond. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, grandmothers, aunties, and sisters, and even dads that are doing the job of both. Happy Mother's Day. I hope you're having an awesome day. Mine was pretty good so far. I actually slept in really late. Then I got up and bought burgers and waffle fries and sodas for everyone, and came in here, got the show ready, and I'm kind of freaked out right now because I was sitting here and I felt something on my hand, and I looked down thinking it might have been a spider or something, which would have been bad enough, but it was a freaking yellow jacket, so it's in here somewhere. I don't know where it's at, but I hope it doesn't get me. I'm scared. So I'm your host, TessaTNT. We are broadcasting live from the Mile High Clubhouse tonight. I'm so glad you could join us, and like I said, I hope you've had an awesome weekend, and especially a really awesome Sunday. If you're listening live right now, you may be listening to us on KPNL Radio, which you can find at KPNL Radio at kpnl-db.com, as well as eTalk Radio, which you can find at etalk.tv/radio, and Spreaker under We Are Paradox Media. If you like to watch your podcasts, you can watch us on Facebook under We Are Paradox Media, as well as YouTube. If you don't mind, please mosey on over there and subscribe, like any video that you've watched or listened to, and give that little bell a flick. That way, next time that we have a show going, you'll be made privy. You'll know we're on. If you want to listen in your free time, whether you're working it, or working out, feel free to check us out on any place that you listen to your podcasts. So, I was kicking around the idea of getting into the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy because YouTube has gotten rid of the last two story times that I've done. I don't know why, because each time I do it, I'm either playing Mia Savage's Antidote for Savages, which she's my bestie, she gave me the music, or Jeff Hilliard, who's been a guest on my show, and he gave me his music as well. One of the songs, which is it was Good Life, which I don't even play that one. I had to pay for that one, but all the rest of them he sent to me, so I don't know what YouTube's issue is, but hopefully they don't get rid of this show tonight as well. So, instead of getting into the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I really want to finish this book. Hopefully we'll finish it tonight, if not, perhaps next weekend. On Bear Awareness Week, from the 19th to the 25th. I wonder if that's like Shark Week. Anyways, Case for Killer. This is by Sue Grafton, and it's been pretty good so far. I hope the yellow jacket lines to me. Please don't sting me. So we're on chapter 13. When I got back to my apartment, Danielle was standing on the doorstep in a shallow pool of light. Her long legs were bare, capped by the shortest pink miniskirt on record. She wore black high heels, a black tank top, and a varsity leather jacket with a big black F across the back. Her hair was so long that it extended below the bottom of the jacket in the back. She smiled when she caught the sight of me crossing the yard. "Oh, hey! Thought you were gone. I came to get my dime. The IRS says I'm short on my estimated income tax. Aren't you cold? It's really freezing out here." "You must have never lived in the East. It's probably 50 degrees. With this jacket I got on, I'm as warm as toast." "What's the F stand for?" "What do you think?" she said drowly. I smiled as I unlocked the door and flipped the lights on. She followed me in, pausing at the threshold to assess the premises. Her eyes looked enormous, the green offset by the dark liner, her lashes beaded with mascara. Under all the makeup, she had a smooth baby face, snub nose, sulky mouth. She strolled the perimeter of my living room, tottering on her high heels as she peered at all the bookshelves, picked up the framed photograph of Robert Dietz. Well, he's cute. Who's this? A friend. She lifted her brows and gave me a look that suggested she knew what kind of friend he was. She put the picture back down again and shoved her hands in her jacket pockets. I hung my own jacket across the back of the director's chair. She sat down on my sofa and rubbed a hand across the surface of the fabric as if to test the weight. Tonight, her fingernails were long and perfect, painted a vivid fire engine green. I don't know if I turned on my mic over here. Yep, we're good. All right, I just had to check really quick. Sometimes I do things on autopilot and I'm not sure if I did it or not. But we're good. Glad you can hear me. All right, let's see. This is not bad. They got any other units as good as this? This is the only rental. My landlord's 85. I don't discriminate. I like old guys, she said. Maybe I could give him a discount. I'll pass the word along in case he's interested. What are you doing here? She got up and moved over to the kitchen, where she opened my cabinets to check the contents. I was bored. I don't go into work until 11, so it's a problem sometimes what to do before. Mr. Dickhead's in a bad mood, so I'm avoiding him. What's his problem? Oh, who knows? He's probably bragging again, she said. She flapped a hand in the air, dismissive to his ill temper. She pulled a couple of tea bags out of her jacket pocket and dangled them in the air. You want some peppermint tea? I got some bags if you boil the water. It's good for digestion. I'm not worried about digestion. I haven't had dinner yet. Me neither. Sometimes all I have is tea if Lester's taken my money. He doesn't want me to get fat. What a pal, I said. She shrugged, unconcerned. I looked after myself. I'm into megavitamins and high colonics and stuff like that. There's a treat, I said. I filled the kettle with hot water and put it on the stove. I flipped the burner on. Laugh all you want. I bet I'm healthier than you. That wouldn't take much, the way I eat, I said. Speaking of which, you want dinner? I don't cook, but I could have a pizza delivered. I have to go out in a bit, but you're welcome to join me. I wouldn't mind some pizza, she said. If you just do veggies without all the sausage and pepperoni, it's not even bad for you. Try that place around the corner. I bunk the owner sometimes. He gives me a big discount because I chew his bone. Ew, that's gross. I'll mention that when I call the order in, I said. Here, I'll do it. Where's the phone? I pointed to the phone on the table beside the answering machine. We both noticed the blinking light. You got a message, she said. She reached down automatically and pressed the replay button before I had a chance to protest. It seemed as rude for her to listen as to open my mail. A mechanical computer voice announced that I had one message. Beep. Oh, hi, Kinsey. This is Roger. I just wanted to touch base and see how things were going. Anyway, you don't have to call back, but if you have any more questions, you can reach me at home. Bye. Oh, I guess I better give you the number. He recited his number and then hung up with a click. Lorna's boss, she said. You know him? Sure. Do you? She wrinkled her nose. I met him once. She picked up the phone and punched in a number she seemed to know by heart. He turned and looked at me while the phone rang on the other end. I'm going to have him leave the cheese off. It cuts the fat, she murmured. I left her to the negotiations while I made us each a cup of tea. The night I'd met her, she'd seemed wary, or maybe that was just her working persona. Tonight she seemed relaxed, nearly buoyant. Her mood was probably drug-induced, but there was actually something charming about her ingenuousness. She had a natural goodwill that animated every gesture. I heard her conducting business with the kind of poise that must come from boinking guys from every walk of life. He put a hand over the mouthpiece. What's the address here? I forgot. I gave her the number, which she recited into the telephone. I could have taken her to Rosie's with me, but I didn't trust Rosie to be polite. With William gone, I was worried she might revert to her former misanthropy. Danielle hung up the phone and took off her jacket, which she folded neatly and put on one end of the sofa. She came over to the counter clutching her oversized shoulder bag. Somehow, she seemed as graceful as a colt, her arms and long legs and bony shoulders. I passed her a mug of tea. I have a question for you. Hold on, let me say something first. I hope this is not too personal. I wouldn't want you to take offense. I really hate sentences that start that way, I said. Me too, but this is for your own good. Go ahead, if you're going to say it anyways. She hesitated, and the face she made conveyed exaggerated reluctance. Promise you won't get mad? Just say it. I can't stand the suspense. I have bad breath. That haircut of yours is really gross. Oh, thanks. You don't have to get sarcastic. I can help, honestly. I was working on my license as a cosmetologist when I first connected up with Lester. Mr. Dickhead, I supplied. Yeah, him. Anyway, a great cutter. I did Lorna's hair all the time. Give me a pair of scissors and I can turn you into a vision. I'm not fooling. All I have is nail scissors. Maybe after dinner. Come on, we got 15 minutes until the pizza gets here, and look at this. She opened up her shoulder bag and let me peek. Ta-da! She had a brush, a little hairdryer, and a pair of shears. We placed the hairdryer on the counter and clacked the scissors like a pair of castanets. You came over here with that stuff? I keep it with me all the time. Sometimes at the palace I do haircuts in the ladies' room. I ended up sitting on a kitchen stool with a hand towel pinned around my neck. My hair wet from a dousing at the kitchen sink. Danielle was chatting happily while she trimmed and clipped. Snippets of hair began to tumble around me. Now don't get scared. I know it looks like a lot, but it's just because the whole thing's uneven. You got great hair, nice and thick, with just the tiniest touch of curl. Well, I wouldn't call it curl so much as a body, which is even better. So why didn't you get your license? I lost interest, plus the money's not that hot. My father always said it'd be a great fallback position if the economy went sour, but clicking's better, in my opinion. A guy might have the bucks to get his hair blown dry, but he's always got 20 for a BJ. I mouthed the term BJ silently. It took me half a second to figure that one out. What are you going to do when you get too old to boink? It's so funny. Oh man. I'm taking classes at City College in financial management. Money is the only other subject that really interests me. I'm sure you'll go far. Hey, Jen. What's up, sister? You gotta start somewhere, but what about you? What will you do when you're too old to boink? I don't boink now. I'm pure as driven snow. Well, no wonder you got cranky. What a drag, she said, and I laughed. For a while, we were silent as she concentrated on her work. What's the question? You said you had something you wanted to ask? Maybe I better check my cash supply first. She pulled my hair. Now don't be like that. I bet you're the kind who kids around to keep other people in a distance, right? I don't think I should respond to that. She smiled. See, I can surprise you. I'm a lot brighter than you think. So ask. Oh, yes. Well, did Lorna mention pulling 20 grand out of a bank account before she was supposed to go out of town? Why would she do that? She always traveled with the guy. She never spent her own money when she went someplace. What guy? Anyone who asked, she said, still clipping away. You know where she was headed? Didn't talk about that stuff. What about a diary or an appointment book? Danielle touched her temple with the tip of her scissors. She kept it all up here. She said otherwise her clients didn't feel safe. Cops raid your place. They got a search warrant. You're dead. And so's everybody else. Quite wiggling. Sorry, where'd the money go? It looks like she closed out the whole account. Well, she didn't give it to me. I wish she had. I'd have opened an account of my own just like that. She snapped the scissors near my ear, and 7 hairs fell to earth. I meant to do that, she added. She set the scissors on the counter and plugged in the hairdryer, picking up the locks of hair on the bristles of the hairbrush. It's incredibly restful to have someone fooling with your hair like that. I raised my voice slightly to compete with the noise. Could she have paid off a debt or posted bail for someone? 20 G's in bail would be a hell of a crime. Did she owe anybody? Lorna didn't have debts, even credit cards she paid off before finance charges went on, she said. I bet the money was stolen. Yeah, that occurred to me too. Must have been after she was dead, she added. Otherwise, Lorna would have fought tooth and nail. She turned the dryer off and set it aside, stepping back to scrutinize her handiwork. She took a moment to fluff and rearranged individual strands and then nodded, apparently satisfied. The doorbell rang. Mr. Pizza Man on the doorstep. I handed Danielle $20 and let her conclude the deal while I ducked into the downstairs bathroom and checked myself in the mirror. The difference was remarkable. All the choppiness was gone. All the blunt, stick-out parts that seemed to go every which way were now tamed and subdued. The hair feathered away from my face in perfect layers. It even fell into place again if I shook my head. I caught sight of Danielle reflected in the mirror behind me. "You like it?" she asked. "It looks great." "I told you I was good," she said, laughing. We ate from the box, splitting a large cheeseless veggie pizza, which was tasty without causing all the arteries to seize up. At one point, she said, "This is fun, isn't it? Like girlfriends." "You miss Lorna?" "Yeah, I do. She was a kick. After work, her and me would pal around downtown, find a coffee shop, have breakfast. I remember once we bought a quart of orange juice and a bottle of champagne. We sat out in the grass at my place and drank mimosas until dawn. I'm sorry I never got to meet her. She sounds nice." At 8, we folded the box and stuck it in the trash. Danielle put her jacket on while I got mine. Once outside, she asked me to drop her off at her place. I took a left on Cabana, following her directions as she routed me down a narrow alleyway, not that far from Neptune's palace. Her hovel, as she referred to it, was a tiny board and batten structure at the rear of someone else's yard. The little house had probably been a tool shed at one time. She got out of the car and leaned back in the window. "You want me to come in? Or you want to come in and see my place?" "Maybe tomorrow night," I said. "I got some stuff to do tonight." "Pop by if you can. I got fixed up real cute. If business is slow, I'm usually home by 1, provided Lester isn't bugging me to score. Thanks for dinner and the ride. Thanks for the cut." I watched her clop off into the night, high heels tapping on the short brick walk to her front door, dark hair trailing down her back like a veil. I fired up my car and headed for Kepler's house. I parked in the driveway and made my way along the flagstone path leading to the porch. The porch light was off, and the yard was dark as pitch. I picked my way up the front stairs, which were dimly illuminated by the light from the living room windows. Janice had told me they usually ate dinner at this hour. I tapped on the front door, and from the direction of the kitchen, heard a chair scrape back. Okay, so Buddy's calling for some reason. He should know I'm doing my show right now. But I'll let him know just in case. Hope everything's okay. Air, not airy. What the heck? Freaking fingers. What? Is that Aurora Borealis or what? That's pretty awesome if it is. But it looks like it could be a dang UFO. Or a kite that's lit up. I don't know, that's pretty cool. Whatever it is. Trying to zoom in, but it's dark. Yeah, it looks like it's some... Yeah, it's an umbrella that's all lit up. That's pretty awesome. Anywho's, where were we? Mace answered my knock, his body blocking most of the light spilling out the door. I smelled tuna casserole. Sorry, let me get rid of this really quick. Now, tuna casserole can be good if it's done correctly. He had a paper napkin in one hand, and he made a swipe at his mouth. "Oh, it's you. We're eating supper right now. Is Janice here?" "She's already left. She works 11 to 7 every day, but some girl got sick and she went in early. Try tomorrow," he said. He was already moving to shut the door in my face. "Mind if I talk to you?" His face went momentarily blank, just a tiny flick of temper that wiped out any other expression. "Pardon?" I wondered if you'd object to a quick chat, I said. Yeah, I do. I work a long, hard day and I don't like people watching while I eat. I felt a flash of heat as though somebody'd taken a blowtorch to the back of my neck. Maybe later, I said. I turned and moved down the porch steps as the door closed behind me. He muttered something obscene. I backed out of the drive with a chirp and threw the car into first. What a turd. I did not like that man at all. He was a horse's ass and a jerk, and I really hoped that he had itchy hemorrhoids. I drove randomly, trying to cool down. I couldn't even think what to do with myself. I would have gone to Frankie's to talk to Janice, but I knew I'd say spiteful things about her spouse. Instead, I went to the Caliente Cafe looking for Cheney Phillips. It was still early for a Wednesday night, but CC's was already crowded. Sound system blasting and enough cigarette smoke to make breathing unpleasant. For a place with no happy hour, no 2-for-1 deals, and no hors d'oeuvres unless you count chips and salsa as a form of nape, CC's does a lively business from the time it opens at 5 p.m. until it closes at 2 in the morning. Cheney was sitting at the bar in a dress shirt, faded jeans, and a pair of desert boots. He had a beer in front of him and was talking with a guy sitting next to him. When he saw me, he grinned. Lordy, I'm a sucker for good tea. Miss Milhone, how are you? You got your hair cut, it looks good. Thanks. You got a minute? Of course. He picked up his beer and eased himself off the bar stool, scanning the place for a vacant table where we could talk. The bartender was moving in our direction. We need a glass of Chardonnay, Cheney said. I found a table on the sidewall. I spewed for a while about my dislike of Mace Kepler. Cheney wasn't all that fond of the man himself, so he enjoyed my comments. I don't know what it is, he just gets me. He hates women, Cheney said. I looked at him with surprise. Is that it? Maybe that's what it is. So what else are you up to? I spent a few minutes filling him in on my trip to San Francisco. My talk with Cheney, her confession about the porno tape, and finally the money missing from the account. I showed him the bank statement, watching his face. What do you think? By then, he was slouched down and on his spine, his legs stretched out in front of him. He had one elbow propped up on the table, and he held the statement by one corner. He shifted on his seat. He didn't seem impressed. She was going out of town. She probably needed money. He sat and studied the bank statement while I sipped his Corona. I asked Danielle about that. She says Lorna never paid. She only traveled with guys who supported her to everything. Yeah, but it still isn't necessarily significant, he said. Of course it isn't necessarily significant, but it might be. That's the point. Serena says JD went into the cabin briefly while they were waiting for the cops. Suppose he lifted it. You think it's sitting right there? This big wad of dough? Well, it could be, I said. Yeah, right. For all you know, Lorna was involved in off-track betting, or she picked up a fur coat or bought a shitload of drugs. Uh-huh, I said, cutting in on his recital. Or maybe the cash was lifted by the first officer at the scene. There's an idea, she said, not liking the image of police corruption. Anyway, you don't know it was cash. It could have been a check made payable to someone else. She could have moved the money over to her checking account and paid the balance in her Visa bill. Most people don't walk around with cash like that. I keep picturing a wad of bills. Try to picture something else. Serena might have taken it. She pointed a finger at JD. But really, all we have is her word. She didn't go into the cabin herself, or maybe Lauren's parents found the stash and kept their mouths shut, figuring they'd have to have money for the funeral. I was going to ask about that, but Kepler pissed me off. Cheney seemed amused. You just never give up. I think it's interesting, that's all. Besides, I'm desperate for a lead. Mace Kepler doesn't have a record, does he? I'd love to get him on something. He's clean, we checked him out. Doesn't mean he isn't guilty. It just means he hasn't been caught yet. Don't get distracted. He pushed the statement across the table. At least you know who mailed the porno tape to Mrs. K, he said. It doesn't lead anywhere. Don't sound so depressed. Well, I hate these raggedy-ass investigations, I said. Sometimes the line is so clear you pick up the scent and you follow it. It may take time, but at least you know you're going someplace. This is driving me nuts. Cheney shrugged. We investigated for months and didn't get anywhere. Yeah, I know. I don't know what made me think I could make a difference. What an egotist, he said. You work on a case 3 days and you think, boom, you should have it solved? Is that all it's been? Feels like I've been on this sucker for weeks. Anyway, something will break. Killer's been sitting around all this time thinking he's in the clear. He's not gonna like it that you're nosing around. Or she. Right, let's don't get sexist about homicide, he said. Penny's pager went off. Until that moment, I hadn't even been aware that he was toting one of those. He checked the number and then excused himself, going into the rear of the bar to use the payphone. When he came back, he said he had to leave. One of his informants had been arrested and was asking for him. After he left, I hung around long enough to finish my wine. Business was picking up and the noise level was rising, along with toxic levels of secondhand cigarette smoke. I grabbed my jacket and my shoulder bag and headed for the parking lot. It was not even midnight, but all the parking spaces were filled and cars were beginning to line the road out in front. The sky was overcast. The lights from the city made the cloud cover glow. Across the road at the bird refuge, a low mist was rising from the freshwater lagoon. A faint sulphurous smell seemed to permeate the air. Crickets and frogs masked the sound as traffic on the distant highway. Closer at hand, an approaching freight train sounded its horn like a brief organ chord. I could feel the ground rumble faintly as the searchlight swept around the bend. The man on the bike went by. I turned and stared after him. The mounting thunder of the train made his passage seem as silent as mimes. All I was aware of was the dancing of the lights, his juggling performance, for which I was an audience of one. In the side lot I spotted the rounded roofline of my VW, where I'd parked it in a circle of artificial light. A shiny black stretch limousine was parked across the row of cars, blocking 4 vehicles including mine. I peered toward the driver's side. The window was lowered soundlessly. I paused, pointing at my car to indicate that I was hemmed in. The chauffeur touched his cap, but made no move to start his engine. A little mishelpful. I waited for half a second, then said, "Sorry to bother you, but if you can just move up about 3 feet, I think I could squeeze out. I'm the VW and back." The chauffeur's gaze moved to a point behind me, and I turned to see what he was looking at. The 2 men had emerged from the bar and were headed in our direction, feet crunching on gravel, their progress leisurely. I moved on toward my car, thinking to go ahead and unlock it and get in. No point in standing in the cold, I thought. The cadence of footsteps picked up, and I turned to see what was going on. The 2 men appeared on either side of me, crowding in close, each man gripping an arm. "Hey," I said. "Please be very quiet," one of them murmured. They began to walk me toward the limo, virtually hoisting me off the ground so that my feet barely touched as they hurried me along. I felt like a kid being held aloft by my parents, lifted over curbs and puddles. When you're little, this is fun. When you're big, it's scary stuff. The rear door of the limo opened. I tried to dig my heels in, but I had no purchase. By the time I gathered myself and bucked squawking, "Help!" I was in the back of the limo with the door slammed shut. The interior was black leather and burled walnut. I could see a compact bar, a phone, and a blank television screen. Above my head, a band of vari-colored lighted buttons controlled every aspect of the passenger's comfort: air temperature, windows, reading lights, and the sliding moonroof. The interior glass privacy panel was rolled up between us and the chauffeur. I sat there, squeezed in between the 2 guys on the back bench, facing a 3rd man across a spacious length of plush black carpeting. In the interest of personal safety, I made a point of looking straight ahead. I didn't want to be able to identify the 2 sidekicks. The guy facing me didn't seem to care if I looked at him or not. All 3 men were throwing out body heat, absorbed by the silence, which ate up all but the sounds of heavy breathing, largely mine. The only lights on in the limo were small sidebars. The floods from the parking lot cut by the heavily tinted windows, but there was still ample illumination. The atmosphere in the car was tense, as if the gravitational field were somehow different here than in the rest of the world. Maybe it was the overcoats, the conviction I had that everybody in the car was hacking except me. I could feel my heart thumping in my chest and a sick thrill of sweat trickling down my side. Often fear makes me sassy, but not this time. I felt excessively respectful. These were men who operated by a set of rules different from mine, who knew what they'd consider rude or offensive. The limo was so long that the man across from me was probably sitting 8 feet away. He appeared to be in his 60s, short and blocky, balding on top. His face was dotted with miscellaneous moles. The skin was heavily lined as a pen and ink sketch. His cheeks bowed out, almost to a heart shape, his chin forming the point. His eyebrows were an unruly tangle of white over dark sunken eyes. His upper lids sagged. His lower lids were pooched into smoky poofs. He had thin lips and big teeth, set slightly askew in his mouth. He had big hands, thick wrists, and heavy something distinctly masculine about him. First, decisive, opinionated. He held a small notebook loosely in one hand, though he didn't seem to be referring to it. I hope you'll forgive me the unorthodox method of arranging a meeting. We didn't intend to alarm you. No accent, no regional inflection. The guys on either side of me sat as still as mannequins. Are you sure you have the right person? Yes. I don't know you, I said. I'm a Los Angeles attorney, a representative of a gentleman who's currently out of the country on business. He asked me to get in touch. Regarding what? My heartbeat had slowed some. These were not robbers or rapists. I didn't think they were going to shoot me and fling my body out into the parking lot. The word mafia formed at the back of my mind, but I didn't allow it to become concrete. I didn't want confirmation in case I was forced to testify later. These guys were professionals. They killed for business, not pleasure. So far, I had no business with them, so I figured I was safe. The alleged attorney was saying, "You're conducting a homicide investigation my client has been following. The dead girl is Lorna Kepler. We'd appreciate it if you'd apprise us of the information you've acquired." What's his interest, if you don't mind me asking? He was a close friend. She was a beautiful person. He doesn't want anything coming to light that might sully her reputation. Well, her reputation was sullied before she died, I pointed out. They were engaged. In what? They were getting married in Las Vegas on April 21st, but Lorna never showed. Chapter 14. I stared across the dark of the limousine at him. The calm seemed so preposterous that it might just be true. I'd been told Lorna met some heavy hitters in the course of her work. Maybe she fell in love with some guy, and he with her. Mr. and Mrs. Racketeer. Didn't he send someone up here to find her when she didn't show? He's a proud man. He assumed she had changed her mind and had a change of heart. Naturally, when we heard what had happened to her, the news was bittersweet, he said. Now, of course, he wonders if he could have saved her. We'll probably never have the answer to that. What information do you have so far? I was forced to shrug. I've only been working since Monday, and I haven't come up with much. He was silent for a moment. You spoke to a gentleman in San Francisco with whom we've had dealings, Mr. Ayers? That's right. Well, what did he tell you? I paused. I wasn't sure whether Joe Ayers' corporation or his failure to cooperate would generate disfavor in this crowd. I pictured Ayers hanging from his chandelier by his dick. Dang, that's hardcore. Maybe the mob didn't really do things that way. Maybe they've picked up a bad rep these days. Living in Santa Teresa, we didn't have a lot of experience with these things. My mouth had gone dry. I was worried about my responsibility to the people I'd spoken with. He was courteous, I said. He gave me a couple of names and telephone numbers, but I'd already checked them out, so the information wasn't that useful. Who else have you spoken to? It's hard to sound casual when your voice starts to quake. Family members? Her boss? She'd done some house sitting for the boss's wife. When I talked to her, I cleared my throat. This was Mrs. Bonnie, the one who found her. That's right, I also talked to the homicide detective who handled the case. Silence. That's about it, I added, sounding lame. His eyes drifted down to his notebook. There was a glint of light when his gaze came up again. Clearly he knew exactly who I'd been speaking to and was waiting to see how candid I intended to be. I pretended I was in a courtroom on the witness stand. He was an attorney, according to his claim. If he had questions, let him ask and I'd answer. In the unlikely event that I knew more than he did, I thought it was better not to volunteer information. Who else? He asked. Another trickle of sweat slid down my side. That's all I can think of offhand, I said. The car seemed hot. I wondered if they had the heater turned on. What about Miss Rivers? I looked at him blankly. I don't know anyone by that name. Danielle Rivers? Oh, yeah, right. I did speak to her. Are you guys connected to that fella on the bike? He ignored that one. He said, You talked to her twice. Most recently tonight? I owed her some money. She came by to collect. She gave me a haircut and we ordered a vegetarian pizza. It was no big deal, really. His gaze was cold. What has she told you? Nothing, She said Lorna was her mentor and she passed along some of Lorna's financial strategies. He did mention her personal manager, a guy named Lester Dudley. You know him? I don't believe Mr. Dudley is relevant to our discussion, he said. What's your theory about the murder? I don't have one yet. You don't know who killed her? I shook my head. My client is hoping you'll pass the name along when it comes into your possession. Oh, sure, I thought. Why? I tried not to sound impertinent, but it was tough. It's probably smarter not to quiz these guys, but I was curious. He would consider it a courtesy. Ah, a courtesy, got it. Like between us professionals. He could also make it worth your while. Well, I appreciate that, but I don't mean to sound rude about this, but I don't really want anything from him, that I can think of at the moment. Tell him thanks for the offer. Dead silence. He reached into the inside breast pocket of his coat. I flinched, but all he did was take out a retractable ballpoint pen, which he clicked. He scribbled something on a business card and held it out to me. I can be reached at this number at any hour. The guy on the right moved forward, took the card, and passed it to me. No name, no address. Just the handwritten number. The attorney continued, his tone pleasant. In the meantime, we'd prefer that you keep this conversation confidential. Sure. No exceptions. Okay. Including Mr. Phillips. Cheney Phillips, undercover vice cop, I said. Got it. I felt cool air on my face and realized the limo door had been opened. The guy on my right got out, extended a hand to me. I appreciated the assist. It's hard to hump your way across a seat where the sweat on the back of your knees is causing you to stick to the upholstery. I hoped I hadn't wet myself. In this situation, I didn't even trust my legs to work. I emerged somewhat ungracefully, but first, like a breech berth. To steady myself, I put a hand against the car parked next to mine. The guy got back in the limo. The rear door closed with a click, and the car paced away, gliding soundlessly out of the parking lot. I checked for the license plate, but the number had been obscured by mud. Not that I'd have had the plate run, but I didn't really want to know who these guys were. Under my jacket, the back of my turtleneck was cold and damp. An involuntary spasm scampered down my frame. I needed a hot shower and a slug of brandy, but I didn't have time for either. I unlocked my car and got in, slapped the lock down, again as if pursued. I peered into the back seat to make sure I was alone. Even before I started the car, I flipped the heater on. I sat in the back booth at Frankie's coffee shop, as far from the windows as I could get. I kept searching the other patrons, wondering if one of them was telling me. The place was moderately full. Older couples who'd probably been coming here for years. Kids looking for some place to hang out. Janice had spotted me when I came in, and she appeared at the silverware. Thick white ceramic cup turned upside down on a matching saucer. I turned the cup right side up, and she filled it. I left it on the table, so she couldn't see how badly my hands were shaking. "You look like you could use this," she said. "You're white as a sheet." "Can you talk?" She glanced behind her. "Soon as the party at table 5 clears out," she said, "I'll leave you this." She put the pot down and moved back to her station, pausing to pick up an order from the kitchen pass-through. When she returned, she was toting an oversized cinnamon roll and 2 pats of butter wrapped in silver paper. "I brought you a snack. You look like you could use a little jolt of sugar with your caffeine." "Thanks, that looks great." She sat down across from me, careful to keep an eye out in case customers came in. I opened both pats and broke off a band of hot roll, which I buttered and ate, nearly moaning aloud. The dough was soft and moist, the glaze dripping down between the coils. Nothing like fear to generate an appetite for comfort foods. "Fantastic! I could get addicted. Is this a bad time for you?" "Not at the moment. I may have to interrupt. Are you all right? You don't seem like yourself." "I'm fine. I have a couple things I need to ask." I paused to lick the butter from my fingers, and then I wiped them on the paper napkin. I've never tried butter on a cinnamon roll, so that's pretty interesting. "Did you know Lorna was supposed to get married in Las Vegas the weekend she died?" Janice looked at me as if I had begun to speak a foreign language, and she was waiting for subtitles to appear at the bottom of the screen. "Where in the world did you hear such a thing?" "Think there's any truth to it?" "Until this very second, I'd have said absolutely not. Now you mention it, I'm not sure. It's possible," she said, and might explain her attitude, which at the time I could identify. She seemed excited, truly like she was wanting to tell me something, but she was holding back. You know how kids are. Well, maybe you don't. When kids have a secret, they can hardly keep it in. They want to tell you so bad they can't stand it. So most of the time, they just blab it right out. She was acting like that. At the time, I wasn't picking up on it consciously. I did notice because that's what popped in my head the minute you said that. But at the time, I didn't press. Who was she gonna marry? As far as I know, she didn't even date. I don't know the man's name. I gather it was some fellow from Los Angeles. But who told you? How did you find out about him? His attorney got in touch with me a little while ago. Actually, it might have been the guy himself playing games. It's hard to say. Why haven't we heard about him before now? He's been dead 10 months, and this is the first I've heard of it. Well, maybe we finally started fishing in the right swamp, I said. You want me to ask the girls if she said anything to them? Well, I'm not sure it matters. I have no reason to believe this story's fabricated. It's a question of filling in some blanks. What else? You said there were a couple things? On the 20th of April, the day before she died, she closed out a savings account she kept down in Simi Valley. It looks like she withdrew approximately $20,000, either in cash or check. It's also possible she moved the money to another account, but I can't find a record of it. Is this ringing any bells for you? She shook her head slowly. No, I don't know anything about that. Mace or me didn't come across any substantial sums of money. I'd have turned it in, figuring it might be evidence. Besides, if it was Lorna's money, it would be part of her estate, and we might have to pay taxes on it. I don't cheat the government, not even the tiniest little bit. That's one thing I taught her. You don't fool around with the IRS. Could she have hidden it? I asked. Why would she do that? I have no idea. She might have closed out the account and then tucked the money away someplace until she needed it. You think someone stole it? I don't even know if there was really any money in the first place. It looks like there was, but I can't be sure. It's possible her landlord might have taken it. At any rate, it's a detail I need to pin down. Well, I sure never saw it. Was the security conscious? I didn't see a lot of locks and bolts at her place. Oh, she was awful about that. She left the door wide open half the time. In fact, I've often thought somebody might have got in while she was jogging, which is why there wasn't any sign of forced entry. The police thought so, too, because they asked me about it more than once. Did she ever mention a safe in the house? Her tone was skeptical. Oh, I don't think she had a safe. That doesn't seem like her at all. In that crappy little cabin? I wouldn't make any sense of that. She believed in banks. She had accounts everywhere. What about her jewelry? Where did she keep that? Did she have a safe deposit box? It was something like that. She kept a regular old jewelry box in her chest of drawers, but we didn't find anything expensive, just some costume stuff. But she must have had good pieces if she went through all the trouble to insure them. She even made a point of mentioning her jewelry in her will. Well, I'll be happy to show you what we found, and you can see for yourself, Janet said. What about those home security devices where people hide their valuables? Fake rocks or Pepsi cans or phony heads of lettuce in the vegetable bin? Did she have anything like that? I doubt it. The police never found anything in the house that I know of. I'm not sure about outside. I know they searched the yard around the cabin. If she had something like that, they'd have found it, wouldn't they? You're probably right, but I may go back over there tomorrow and take a look. Feels like a waste of time, but I don't like loose ends. Anyway, it's not like I have anything better. I went home to bed and slept fitfully, pricked by the awareness that I had work to do. While my body teetered toward exhaustion, my brain synapses fired at random. Ideas seemed to shoot out like rockets, exploding mid-air, a light show of impressions. By some curious metamorphosis, I was being drawn into the shadowy after-hours world Lorna Kepler had inhabited. Night turf. The darkness seemed both exotic and familiar. I felt myself waking to the possibilities. In the meantime, my system was operating on overload, and I didn't so much sleep as short myself out. 5:25 in the evening, when I finally opened my eyes, I felt so anchored to the bed I could barely move. I closed my eyes again, wondering if I'd picked up a superfluous 300 pounds in my sleep. I checked my extremities, but found no evidence of massive overnight weight gain. I rolled out of bed with a whimper, pulled myself together with minimal attention to the particulars, and headed out my front door. At the first fast food establishment I passed, I picked up an oversized container of hot coffee and sucked on it like a baby, effectively burning my lips. By 6, when ordinary folk were heading home from work, I was bumping down the narrow dirt lane that led to Lorna's cabin. I had been driving with a constant eye on my rearview mirror, wondering if the fellows in the limousine were following. Whatever their telling methods, they were experts. Since I started this case, I'd never been aware of being under surveillance. Even now, I'd have been willing to swear there was no one watching. I parked my car, nose out, pausing as I had the first time to drink in the mossy perfume of the place. I set my empty cup on the floor and removed my flashlight and a screwdriver from the glove compartment. I got out of the car, pausing to assess the weather of the night. I was faintly aware of the ebb and flow of the freeway in the distance, a dull tide of passing cars. The air was soft and cold, the shadows shifting capriciously as if blown by the wind. I moved toward the cabin, stomach churning with uneasiness. It was amazing to me how much I'd learned about Lorna since I'd first seen the place. I'd reviewed the post-mortem photographs so often I could almost conjure up a vision of her as she'd been when she was discovered, softened, disintegrating, returning to the elements. If there were ghosts in this world, surely she was one. The night was foggy, and I could hear the intermittent moan of the foghorn sounding on the ocean. The night breeze had a saturated feel to it, rich with the scent of vegetation. I swept away the dark with the beam of my flashlight. The garden, leaded planted, was tangled and overgrown. Tomato volunteers pushing up among the papery stalks of dead corn. A few onion sets had survived the last harvest. Come spring, even left to its own devices, the garden might resurrect itself. I stood in the front yard and studied the cabin. Circling the outside, there was nothing to speak of. Dirt, dead leaves, patches of dried grass. I went up the porch steps. The door was still off its hinges. I tapped to see if it was hollow, but it clunked back at me, dense and solid. I flipped on the overhead light. The dingy glow of a 40-watt bulb defined the interior spaces in a wash of faint yellow. I did a slow visual survey. Where would I hide $20,000 in cash? I started at the entryway and worked my way around to the right. The cabin was poorly insulated, and there didn't seem to be a lot of nooks and crannies. I tapped and poked, sticking the tip of my screwdriver in every crevice and crack. I felt like a dentist probing for cavities. The kitchen seemed to suggest the greatest possibility for hiding places. I took drawers out, measured the depths of the cabinets, looking for any discrepancies that might hint at an opening. I crawled along the floor, getting filthy in the process. Surely the cops had done exactly this, if they'd known what to search for. I tried the bathroom next, shining my light up behind and inside the toilet tank, testing tiles for those loose ones. I pulled out the medicine cabinet, peering down into the lathing behind it. I scrutinized the space in the alcove where she'd kept her bed, checked the metal floor plate in the living room on which the wood-burning stove had rested. There was nothing. Whatever Lorna did with her money, she didn't keep it on the premises. If she'd had jewelry or large sums of cash, she hadn't stuck it in a hidey hole. Well, let's correct that. Whatever she'd done with her valuables, I didn't know where they were. Maybe someone else got to them first, or maybe, as Cheney suggested, she'd used the money in some other way. I finished up the search with a second survey, feeling satisfied or dissatisfied. By chance, my gaze dropped to the bell-tone box. The housing had been popped loose, and I leaned forward toward it, using my screwdriver to explore the space. For an instant, I prayed a secret compartment would open up, and a wad of bills would spill out. Optimist that I am, I always hope for things like that. There was nothing, of course, except the tag-end of electrical wire. I'd never actually seen the working mechanism of a doorbell, but the wire seemed odd. I stood and stared at it for a moment and then leaned closer, squinting. What was that? I went outside, down the creaking wooden steps. The front porch was hiked up on concrete supports, elevated about 3 feet, the space narrowing down to nothing, where the ground sloped upward at the back. The intention must have been to keep moisture away from the floor. But the net effect was to create a cinder-strewn crawl space that had been screened with wooden lathing. I crouched beside the lathing and stuck my fingers through the holes. I gave a pull and a small section lifted away, allowing me to peer at the space underneath the cabin. It was pitch black. I raked the area with the beam of my flashlight and was treated to the bouncing of daddy-long legs as they warned me away. Well, I think that's a good place to stop because we do have to go to our first music break. And YouTube, just so you know, the music I'm using during the reading I've paid for. And I can't remember the place it is, but I'll look for that. And also, the music that I have on this break was given to me directly by the artist, who is Mr. Jeff Hilliard, and he's going to be singing Finger Bang Your Day, which means give your day the middle finger, Consensual Sex Fan, Clock That Heals, Multitude, and Silicone Wave. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
When your life is a never-ending train wreck and you feel like you're drowning in a sea of regret, with a bit of oppression pressing down on your neck, it hurts so bad. When your overwhelming hatred kills your heart's desire and reality starts looking like a dumpster fire, you start bitching to me, but you're preaching to the choir. You don't need to be so mad, 'cause sometimes we hurt, sometimes we cry, sometimes we're sure there's no reason choice to give it all you've got and make your day long with pleasure, really make it hot. Because your day deserves a lover that pulls out the stops. Come on, it's not so hard. 'Cause sometimes we hurt, sometimes we cry, sometimes we should. There's no reason to try when the whole world blows up in our face. What else could we do but stand up and sing? I'm gonna finger bang my day. Yeah, yeah. Finger bang my day.
Hey, what are we really doing? We can't live in a world that has this much hate. We have to get honest with ourselves. We have to take stock in what our part is in all of this madness. We have to let go. And we focus on giving love, setting that intention. And each and every single one of us gets up every day with the intention to give love. And we do it. We go out there and we give love every single day. Each one of us gets out there and makes love to our day. Giving our day a multiple orgasm. The whole world will be orgasmic for the rest of eternity.
Sometimes we hurt, sometimes we cry, sometimes we should. There's no reason to try when the whole world is fucking insane. We open our hearts, stand up and sing. I'm gonna finger bang my day. Finger bang my day. Finger bang my day. Let's open our hearts, stand up and sing. I'm gonna finger bang my day. Yeah, yeah. Finger bang my day. Do you wanna go for a ride in my consensual sex van? Do you wanna go for a ride in my consensual sex van? Let me take you far away from all this huff and puff. There will be nothing in between our love, like a pair of doves flying high above, where nothing can touch us, touching softly. Don't let me go, I won't let you go. This is eternity with me, baby. Do you wanna go for a ride in my consensual sex van?
let's go. Just get in the van.
Desperate and pathetic. Nothing but a coward. You're a fool with nothing to offer. No one will ever believe you. They see you for what you are. You're just a fraud, a shell of a person. And now the power of the spirit of penetrate the demons that love you. They enslave you into the dungeon of the hate. I am the son of God.
I got molar moves, got that molar too. You think it's wrong? I could've had too long. Fuck that. Check these molar moves. You need a molar too. I can do no wrong. Back of the head long, never gonna cut it.
All these hookers sweet on me. Look at them chasing me, showing me that ass. And I bagged up snatch. I do this shit for free. Go down your mama till 3. She's taking selfies with the mullet like it's history. How can I maneuver you with that pussy, dude? You sit like Buddha waiting on it to come to you. My lines are straight to the point. She shows me gratitude. So what's your latitude? Let's adjust your attitude. Head for the alligator, double dually Lamborghini. All up in a silly little yellow polka dot bikini.
I got more than moves. I got that molar too. You think it's wrong? Back of the head too long. Fuck that.
Head for the alligator, double dually Lamborghini. All up in a silly little yellow polka dot bikini.
Check these molar moves. You need a molar too. I can do no wrong. Cut it.
Alligator, double dually Lamborghini. All up in a silly little yellow polka dot bikini. You're like the butt of a butter knife cutting up panini. So climb back in your kangaroo pouch like a rolling genie. These moves are hot, these locks I got. This power cannot be disputed and it can't be bought. So you can find me in the studio with all these thoughts. You wanna buy my style, but you can't be what you're not, neighbor.
I got more than moves. I got that molar too. You think it's wrong? Back of the head too long. Fuck that. Check these molar moves. You need a molar too. I can do no wrong. Back of the head long. We're gonna cut it. Got that motherfucking ballin'. You wanna touch it?
Yeah. Next time you come around here with your bitch ass, just remember how my mullet makes your hoes pussy drip, drip, drip.
I got molar moves. I got that molar too. You think it's wrong? Back of the head too long. Fuck that. Check these molar moves. You need a molar too. I can do no wrong. Never gonna cut it. I got molar moves. I got that molar too. You think it's wrong? Back of the head too long. Fuck that. Check these molar moves. You need a molar too. I can do no wrong. Never gonna cut it. Never gonna cut it. Never gonna cut it.
Drip, drip,
Molar moves.
just a molar, bitch.
Molar moves.
Drip, drip.
Molar moves. Never gonna cut it.
I just got a package, I can't wait to get home. I spent all day tracking the shipment on my phone, all that she was lacking. I ordered custom, I can't wait to get some. Take it to the bedroom, bitch is always nagging. Now I got the air, I send this bitch is packing. Going my way, I have a new attraction. Don't care what you say, it's better in every way. Now baby, it's time to play. We're gonna make us a tape and show everyone the way. Cause I'm going my way, riding up the Silicon Way. I wanna see on the game with my new real dog. I'm gonna play. Just second grade to my Silicon Way. She is here to stay. She's my new real dog, and it's time to play. She don't need expensive date nights. Never talks back, I'm always right. Stuff it in her face with all my might. She don't even care, we don't ever fight. She never cries when I'm testing the suspension. We blow it up like it's fucking Armageddon. We make the videos because this is perfection. Look at this erection. I don't need protection, cause I'm going my way, riding up the Silicon Way. I wanna see on the game with my new real dog. I'm gonna play. Just second grade to my Silicon Way. She is here to stay. She's my new real dog, and it's time to play.
suis à mort.
Je pense toujours à
Enchanté,
tous les champs,
ma chérie, mon
Tous les
frère
champs.
dynastie.
tous
Ils étaient le nipple.
les champs. C'est moi.
It's like living on a super yacht, making love to a robot. It's like owning a football team, but having sex with a robot. It's like winning an Oscar and Emmy or Grammy when you're fucking a robot. It's like saving a family with a newborn from a fire, but you're fucking a robot. I'm calling my way, got it up, silicone way. I'll see on the cake with my new real tone. I'm going to play. Just second way to my silicone maid. She is here to stay. She's my new real tone, and it's time to play.
Welcome back, Wapham crew. Dang. Okay, guys, getting all feisty over there. Alright, so, I don't know if you guys can hear the kids in the background, but they're checking on the kittens. We have 6 kittens in there, and their mother really hasn't been doing a good job, so they're in there making sure their food is full and everything is okay. I don't know what happened to the camera just then. But welcome back. Thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight. It is Mother's Day. It's been a pretty good Mother's Day. Like I said, I slept in, went and bought burgers for the fam, and now I'm doing this, which I love doing this, so I'm glad you could join me. Extra flavors, what the crack? So we'll continue on with Sue Graftons' Case for Killer. It was a flat piece of plywood on the ground with a few garden tools laid on top. I stood up again, aligning my sights with this approximate location of the bell-tone box. I adjusted my position and shone my flashlight up along the joists. I could see where the green wire came down through the floor. It was stapled along the joists at long intervals, running toward the edge of the porch close to me. I was going to have to inch my way under, not a happy thought given all the spiders lurking in the dark. Ugh. Yeah, I thought there was a spider on my hand earlier, but it was a freaking yellow jacket. I don't know where it went, but it's been freaking me out. Gingerly, I got down on my hands and the balls of my feet and duck walked my way under. The spider kitties viewed me with alarm, and many of them fled in what must have been spider fear and panic. Later, they would have horrified conversations about the unpredictability of humans. Ew, all those fingers, they'd say, and those big nasty feet, they always look like they're about to squish you. Spider mothers would console them. Most humans are completely harmless, and they're just as scared of you as we are of them, they'd say. Craned my head, sweeping the underside of the porch with the beam of my flashlight. Right at eye level, a leather case had been stapled to the wood. I used the flat end of my screwdriver to force the staples out. The case was dusty and mealy, where the leather had begun to deteriorate. I humped my way out from under the porch. I dusted my hands off, brushed gravel and dirt from my jeans, then flipped off the flashlight. I moved back into the cabin to examine my find. What I was holding looked like a carrying case for a little portable radio or tape recorder, complete with holes in the end into which an earphone or mic could be plugged. There was a slit along one end for the volume control. It had to be a surveillance setup. Not sophisticated by any means, but possibly effective. Somebody had planted something similar in my apartment a couple of years back, and I discovered it only by accident. In the meantime, the voice-activated recorder had captured my end of phone calls, all incoming messages on my answering machine, both sides of many conversations I'd had on the premises. Someone had been spying on Lorna. Of course, it was possible she'd planted the device herself, but only if she'd had reason to keep an audible recorder of her conversations. If that were the case, I couldn't believe she wouldn't have planted the recorder inside the cabin, where reception would be good and the tapes easier to replace. Something like this, tacked to the underside of the cabin, was bound to pick up a lot of ambient noise. Gosh, Rudy, I thought. Now, who do I know who'd have access to all kinds of surveillance equipment? Could it be Miss Leda Selberg, daughter of the PI who once had his license yanked for illegal wiretap? I flipped my flashlight back on and turned the lights off in the cabin. I unlocked my car and turned the key in the ignition, easing the VW down the bumpy road or the street. I parked it in front of the Burke's half-darkened house. When Leda answered my knock, I was standing with a decrepit leather case dangling off the end of my screwdriver like the skin of some strange beast. Tonight her midriff was bare. Here it was the middle of February, and she was wearing an outfit that might have been suitable for a belly dancer. Wraparound sarong-style pants with wide legs and a thin floral fabric, reminiscent of summer pajama bottoms. The top was a similar fabric, different print with no sleeves, and one button appearing right between her quite mincy breasts. I said, "Is JD here?" I'm just checking the sound really quick. Okay, we're good. Alright. She shook her head. "He's not home yet." "Mind if I come in?" I pictured her playing dumb, a reaction ranging anywhere from denial to duh. She looked at me and she looked at the leather case, apparently unable to think of a thing to say except, "Oh." I stepped back from the door and went into the darkened hall, following as she led the way toward the kitchen at the rear. A glance to the left showed Jack, the sticky-fingered toddler, lying in a stupor on the couch, watching a cartoon video. The infant slept, slumped sideways in a well-padded portable car seat, while colored images flickered across its face. The kitchen still smelled like the sautéed onions and ground beef from dinner on Monday, which seemed like ages ago. Some of the dishes piled in the sink looked the same, too, though several other meals' worth had been piled up on top. She was probably the type who waited until everything was used before she ventured into the washing process.
It has been chosen.
Aw, you guys quit torturing those poor kittens. Did you guys check? Oh, did you guys check their food?
Mom, say a random
I
name.
didn't.
Mom, I think we did. Stop! Don't look around the door. Do it to where you can't see me. Okay. Say a random name.
Gunther.
Yeah, man, what's up?
Alright, check their food, please.
Too bad.
Sorry, guys. We're little kittenins. Oh, let's see. Alright, where are we at? She was probably the type who waited until everything was used before she ventured into the washing process. "You want some coffee?" she asked. I could see a fresh pot on a Mr. Coffee stand, the mechanism still spitting out the last few drops. "That'd be nice," I said. I sat down at the banquet and checked the kitchen table for sticky spots. I found a clear couple of inches and propped my elbow with care. She took down a mug and filled it, then refilled hers before she put the pot back on the machine. In profile, her nose seemed too long for her little face, but the effect in certain lights was lovely nonetheless. Her neck was long and ears elfin, her short-cropped dark hair trimmed to wisps around her face. Her eyes were lined in smudge black, and her lip gloss was a brownish tint. I put the leather case in the middle of the table. She took a seat on the bench, pulling her feet up under her. She ran her hand through her hair, her expression somewhat sheepish. I kept meaning to take that out, but I never got around to it. What a dork. You installed surveillance equipment? Wasn't much, just a mic and tape recorder. Why? I don't know, I was worried, she said. Her dark eyes seemed enormous, filled with innocence. I'm listening. Color was rising in her face. I thought JD and Lorna might be fooling around, but I was wrong. There was a baby bottle, half full, formula sitting on the table. She unscrewed the nipple and used the contents for cream. Ew! She offered me some, but I declined. What was it, voice activated? Well, yeah, I know it sounds kind of dumb in retrospect, but I just found out I was pregnant with the baby and was throwing up all day. Jack wasn't even out of diapers, and I was frantic about JD. I knew I was being bitchy, but I couldn't help myself. I looked horrible and felt worse. And there was Lorna, slim and elegant. I'm not stupid. I figured out what she did for a living, and so did he. JD started finding excuses for going back there every other day. I knew if I confronted him, he'd laugh in my face, so I borrowed some of Daddy's stuff. Were they having an affair? Her expression was self-mocking. He fixed her toilet. One of her screens had some loose, and fixed that too. The most he ever did was complain about me, and even that wasn't bad. He had a fit and chewed him out. She said he had a hell of nerve when I was the one doing all the suffering and the hard work. Also, she got on him because he didn't lift a finger with Jack. That's when he started cooking, which has been a big help. I feel Dad never thanked her, but I wasn't supposed to know she'd come to my defense. How'd you know how to install the bug? I've watched Daddy do it. Lorna was gone a lot, so it wasn't hard. The doorbell never worked, but the box was there. I just drilled a hole in the floor, then crawled under the cabin. All I had to do was make sure the tape was close enough to the edge of the porch so I could switch it on without a hassle. We kept the gardening tools under there. Anytime I weeded, I would find a way to check the tape. How many tapes did you run? I only used one tape, but the first time was a bust because the mic was defective and didn't pick up half the time. Second try was better, but the sound was distorted, so you couldn't hear too well. She had the radio on. She played this jazz station all the time. Up front, there's this little fragment with her and JD. I had to listen 3 times to be sure it was him. Then her drying her hair. That was entertaining. I got her into a couple phone calls. That whole business where she was cranking on JD. Then more music. Only country this time. Then she's talking to some guy. That part's left over from the first round, I think. Did you tell the police? There wasn't anything to tell besides I was embarrassed, she said. I didn't want JD to know. I didn't trust him, especially when it turned out he's innocent. I felt like a fool. Plus, the whole thing's illegal, so why incriminate myself? I'm still worried they'll start thinking it was JD who killed her. It scared me silly when they started in on us, but at least this way I can prove the two of them were friends and got along okay. I stared at her. Are you trying to tell me you still have the tapes? Well, sure, but there's only one, she said. The first time was mostly static, so I went ahead and taped over it. You mind if I listen? You mean right now? Well, if you don't mind. Chapter 15. Just gonna scroll down to the bottom here. She unfolded herself and got up from the table. She moved out into the hallway and disappeared from sight. Moments later, she returned with an empty cassette box and a little tape recorder. The cassette already in place and visible through the oval window. I guess I didn't have to keep this, but it made me feel better. Really, JD couldn't have killed her because he wasn't even in town. He took off Friday morning on a fishing trip. She wasn't killed until Saturday when he was miles away. Where were you that day? I was gone too. I decided to go part of the way with him. He took me as far as Santa Maria and dropped Jack at me and my sister's on Friday. I spent a week with her, then came home on the bus. You have any objections to giving me her name and number? You don't believe me? Let's don't get into that, Lita. You're not exactly a Girl Scout, I said. Well, I know, but that doesn't mean I'd kill anyone. What about JD? Can he verify his whereabouts? You can ask my sister's husband, Nick. That's who he went to nacimiento with. I made a note of the number and the name. Lita punched the play button on the recorder. After a brief interval of white noise, the sound seemed to jump out. The reception was dismal, filled with clunks and banging as people moved around. With the equipment so close, the knocking on the floor sounded like lightning cracks. A chair scraped and someone thunked across the floor. "Oh, hi. Come on in. I got the check right here." There were a couple of inaudible remarks between the two of them. The front door closed like a muffled explosion. Footsteps clunking. "How's Lita feeling?" "She's kind of down in the dump, but she was this way last time. She gets to feeling fat and ugly. She's convinced I'm going out and screwing around on her, so she busts out crying every time I leave the house." I put out a hand. "Hold on a minute. That's JD's voice." She pushed pause and the recording stopped. "Yeah, I know, it's hard to recognize. I had to play it 2 or 3 times myself." "You want to hear it again?" "Well, if you don't mind," I said. "I've never heard Lorna's voice, but I'm assuming you can identify her as well." "Well, sure," Lita said. She punched the rewind button. When the tape stopped, she pressed play, and we listened to the opening again. "Oh, hi, come on in. I got the check right here." Again, muffled remarks between the two of them, and the front door closed like a sonic boom. Footsteps clunking. "How's Lita feeling?" "She kinda down on the dumps, but she was this way last time. She gets to feeling fat and ugly. She's convinced I'm going out to screw around on her, so she busts out crying every time I leave the house." Lorna was saying, "What's her problem? She looks darling." "Well, I think so, but she's got some girlfriend that happened to." Footsteps thunking across the floor and a chair scraping back, sounding like a lion roaring in the jungle. "She only gained 15 pounds with Jack. How could I feel fat? Or how could she feel fat? She doesn't even show. My mother gained 46 with me. Now that's uggers. I've seen pictures. Stomach hanging down to here, boobs looked like footballs, and her legs looked like sticks." Laughter mumbles and static. "Yeah, well, it isn't real, so you can't talk her out of it. You know how she is. Mumble, mumble. Insecure. That's what you get for hooking up with someone half your age." "She's 21. This serves you right. She's an infant. Listen, you want me to keep Jack while you two go out to dinner?" More mumbles. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 X's. The response here was completely missing, blotted out by static. "Problem, he and I get along great. In exchange, you can do me a favor and fog the place for me next time I go out of town. The spiders are getting out of control." "Thanks, except in your mailbox." Chair scraping, clump, clump of footsteps crossing the cabin, muffled voices. The conversation continued outside, and then stopped abruptly. Silence. When the tape picked up again, there were strains of country music with the high whine of a hairdryer running over it. The phone began to ring. The hairdryer was turned off. Clump, clump, clump of footsteps like a series of gunshots. The phone was picked up and Lorna raised her voice in greeting. After that, much of her end of the call was a series of short responses. "Uh-huh, sure, right, okay, that's great." There was a fragmentary mention of the palace that made me think she might be talking to Danielle. Hard to tell with the conversation between JD and Lorna, which was much as Lita indicated. JD complained and Lorna chewed him out because he never helped at home. Lita pressed the stop button impatiently. "What goes on like that pissed me off. They were always talking about me behind my back. All the rest of this is just mumbling, and most you can't even hear." "Too bad," I said. "Yeah, well, the equipment was kind of dinky. I didn't want to get into anything elaborate because it was just too much trouble. The amplification was minimal. You get a lot of distortion that way." "When was this done? Any way to pin down the date?" "Not really. Lorna sat with Jack a couple different times, but I never wrote it down. It wasn't any special occasion, just us popping out for a bite to eat. With a toddler at home, an hour by yourself feels like heaven." "What about the month? It must have been early in the pregnancy because he mentions you're not showing yet." "And wasn't there mention of a receipt in that first conversation? It sounds like he stopped by to pick up the rent." "Oh, maybe so. You could be right about that. I mean, Jeremy was born in September, so That must have been, I don't know, April sometime? She paid the first of the month. When did you start taping? Around then, I guess. Like I said, the first tape was all static. This is the second one I did. I think he actually had an exterminator out for all the spiders and bugs. He probably has a record of it, if you want me to look it up. Well, who else is on here? Mostly junk, like I said. The batteries went dead about halfway through, and after that, all you hear is the stuff still on there, the first time I taped. I pulled the tape out and tucked it back in the empty cassette box. She got it from the table, as if to leave the room. I caught her casually by the arm. Mind if I take that? She hesitated. For what? So I can hear it again. She made a face. I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea. This is the only one I got. I'll bring it back as soon as possible. She shook her head. I'd rather not. Come on, Lita. What are you so worried about? How do I know you won't turn it over to the cops? Oh, right. So you can listen to people clump around making small talk? This is not incriminating stuff. We're talking about the fucking bugs, I said. Besides, you can always claim you had permission. Who's going to contradict you? She gave that consideration. What's your interest? I was hired to do this. This is my job, I said. Look, from what you've said, this tape was made within a month of Lorna's death. How can you be sure it's not significant? You'll bring it back, right? I promise. Reluctantly, she put the cassette on the table and pushed it over to me. But I want to know where to call in case I need it back, she said. You're a doll, I said. I took out a business card and made a note of my home phone and my home address. I gave you this before, but here it is again. Oh, and one more thing. Sounding crabby, she said, what? Every time I manipulate people, it seems to make them so cross. Has JD come into any money in the last few months? JD doesn't have money. If he does, he never told me. You want me to ask when he gets in? It's not important, I said. Anyway, if you mention it, you might have to tell him what we were talking about, and I don't think you want to do that. From the expression on her face, I thought maybe I could trust her discretion. I stopped at the mini-mart on the way back to my place. Somewhere I had a tape recorder, but the batteries were probably dead. While I was at it, I bought myself a king-size cup of coffee and a nasty-looking meat sandwich wrapped in cellophane. From the pink stuff peeking out the side, it was hard to imagine what cow part this was. In thin slivers. I ate driving home, feeling too starved to wait. It was not quite 8 o'clock, but this was probably lunch. Home again, I spent some time getting organized. The tape recording was right where it was supposed to be, in the bottom drawer of my desk. I changed the batteries and found the headphones, a pencil and a legal pad. I played the tape through, listening with my eyes closed, the headphones pressed against my ears. I played the tape back again, taking notes this time. I transcribed what I could hear clearly and left a series of dots, dashes, and question marks, where the sound was garbled or inaudible. It was slow going, but I finally reached a point where I'd gleaned as much as I could. As Lita had indicated toward the end of the tape, after 60 minutes of boring talk, her machine had gone dead, leaving a fragment from the first tape she'd done. The one voice was Lorna's, the other voice was Mel, but not JD's, as far as I could tell. There was a segment of country music playing on the radio. Lorna must have turned it off because the silence was abrupt and punctuated by static. The guy spoke up sharply, saying, "Hey!" Lorna sounded annoyed. "I hate that stuff." "Oh, come on, I'm just kidding, but you have to admit it's..." She goes in, "Day. Damn it, would you stop saying that? You're really sick. People shouldn't..." Clatter, clink. Sound of water squeaking. Thump, thump. "I'm serious, but..." Laughter, chair scrape, rustle, murmur. There was something quarrelsome in the tone, an edginess in Lorna's voice. I played the tape twice more, writing down everything that I had heard clearly. But the subject of the conversation never made any sense. I took the headphones off. I pinched the bridge of my nose and rubbed my hands across my face. I wondered if the guys in the forensics lab had a way to amplify sound on a tape like this. As a private investigator, I was not exactly into high-tech equipment. A portable typewriter was about as state-of-the-art as I could boast. The problem was I didn't see how I could ask for police assistance without an explanation of some kind. Despite my assurances to Lita, she was guilty of withholding, if not evidence, then information that might have been relevant to the police investigation. Cops get very surly when you least expect it, and I didn't want them to take any interest in something that wasn't mine to begin with. Who else did I know? I tried the yellow pages and the telephone book under audio. The businesses listed offered laser home theater, giant screen TVs, custom design and installation of audio systems, and presentation graphics, followed by the ads for hearing aids, hearing evaluations, and speech therapists. I tried the section entitled Sound, which was devoted in large part to designing wireless drive-through intercoms and residential and commercial sound systems. Oh. I checked my watch, 9:15. I flipped back to the white pages under KSPL and called Hector Moreno at the local FM station. It was probably too early to reach him, but I could at least leave a message. The phone was picked up after ring 3. Hey, Spell, this is Hector Moreno. Hector, I can't believe it's you. This is Kinsey Mill home. Aren't you there awfully early? Well, hey, how are you? I switch shifts now and then. Keeps me from getting bored. What about you? What are you up to? I have a tape recording with very poor sound quality. Would you have any way to clean it up? Well, that depends on what you got. I could try, he said. You want to drop it off? I can leave the door unlocked. I'll be right there. En route, I made a stop at Rosie's, where I told her about Beauty and begged for doggy bones. Earlier, she'd boiled up 2 rounds of veal knuckle for the stock she makes. I had to pick through the trash to get them. Ew. But she wrapped 2 in the paper with the usual admonishment. You should get a dog, she said. I'm never home, I replied. She's always on me about this. Don't ask me why. Just a piece of aggravation, in my opinion. I took the packet of bones and began to back away, hoping to curtail discussion. A dog is good company and protection, too. I'll think about it, I said as the kitchen door swung shut. Get a fellow while you're at it. At the station, I let myself in. Hector had left the door ajar and foyer lights on. I went down into the twilight of the stairwell with a paper packet of bones. Beauty was waiting for me when I reached the bottom. She was the size of a small bear, her dark eyes bright with intelligence. Hey, Jay. Good to see ya. Her coat was red gold, the undercoat puffy and soft. When she saw me, her fur seemed to undulate, and she emitted a low humming growl. I watched her lift her head at the scent of me. Without warning, she pursed her lips and howled. A soaring note of ululation that seemed to go on for minutes. I didn't move, but I could feel my own fur bristle in response to her keening. I was rooted to the bottom step, my hand on the rail. Something primitive in her singing sent ice down my spine. I heard Hector call her, then the quick thump of his crutches as he swung along the corridor. Beauty, he snapped. At first she refused to yield. I called her again. Her eyes rolled back at him reluctantly, and I could see her debate. She was willful, intent, as strong as her urge toward obedience. She didn't want to comply. Her complaints were sorrowful, the half-talk of dogs in which sentiment is conveyed, and the insistent language of canines. She howled again, watching me. I murmured, What's the matter with her? Beats me. I brought her some bones. It's not that. He leaned down and touched her. The howling became a low cry, filled with such misery that it broke my heart. He held his hand out. I passed him the packet of veal knuckles. Sounds delicious. Hector looked at me oddly. You smell like Lorna. Have you handled something of hers? I don't think so, just some papers, I said. There was a scarf of hers in the banker's box, but that was yesterday. Sit down very carefully on the steps where you are. I eased myself into a sitting position. He began to talk to Beauty, his tone full of comfort. She watched me with a mixture of hope and confusion, thinking I was Lorna, knowing I was not. Hector offered her the bones, which failed to interest her. Instead, carefully she extended her blunt snout and sniffed at my fingers. I could see her nostrils work as she sifted and analyzed the components of my personal scent. He scratched her ears, massaging her meaty shoulders. Finally, she seemed to accept that she had erred somehow. She hung her head, watching me with puzzlement, as if at any minute I might turn into the woman she was waiting for. Hector straightened up. "She's okay now, come on. Here, why don't you take these?" he said, passing the bones back to me. "She might decide she likes you yet." I followed him into the small studio. Beauty had resumed her wary guardianship, and she positioned herself between the two of us. She put her head down on her feet. Occasionally, she gave me a look, but she was clearly depressed. Poor doggy. Hector had made fresh coffee, which he offered from a mug thermos, sitting on the counter beside a cupboard box and a leather photo album. I let him pour me a cup, figuring it couldn't be much worse. He perched up on his stool, and I watched while he phased out the jazz number that was playing. He extemporized a commentary, feigning casual knowledge from the liner notes on the CD. His voice was deep and melodious. He slipped in another cassette, adjusted the sound levels, and then turned to me. "Let's try the bones," he said. "Beauty needs a lift, poor girl." "I feel bad," I said. "I was wearing those jeans when I went through Lorna's files." I opened the paper packet and hunkered next to Beauty. He coached me through the process. She finally relented, allowing me to stroke her densely furred head. She took one of the knuckle bones between her feet and licked it thoroughly before she tested with her teeth. She made no particular objection when I rose again and perched up beside Hector on the second stool. Hector, meanwhile, was sorting through a stack of old black and white photographs with white fluted rims. He had a box of gummed corners and was mounting select snapshots in an album fat with photographs. "What are those?" "My dad's got a birthday coming up, and I thought he'd get a kick. Most of these were taken during World War II. He passed me a snapshot of a man in pleated pants and a white dress shirt standing in front of a microphone. He was 42. He'd tried to enlist, but Uncle Sam turned him down. Too old, bad feet, punctured eardrum. He was already working as an announcer at a radio station, WCPO in Cincinnati. And they told him they needed him for the war effort. Keep morale up here at home. He used to take me with him. Probably how I got the bug." He set the album aside. "Let's see what you have." I took the cassette from my bag and passed it over to him. Someone was doing a little eavesdropping. I'd rather not say who. He turned it over in his hand. "I probably can't do much with this. I was hoping you were talking 8 or multi-track. Know how this works?" "Not at all," I said. This is mylar ribbon, coated on one side with a bonding material containing iron oxide. Signal passes through a coil and a recording head, and that causes a magnetic field to form between the poles of the magnet. Iron particles get magnetized in something called domains. "No point in boring you to death," he said. "The point is, professional recording equipment is going to give you far better fidelity than a little tape like this." "What was it, some kind of little dingus running off batteries?" "Exactly. There's a lot of ambient noise, mumbling and static. You can't hear half of it." "Doesn't surprise me. What did you use for playback? Same thing?" "Probably the equivalent," I said. "I gather you can't help?" "Well, I can put it on my machine at home and see if that gives you anything. If the sound wasn't laid down in the first place, there's never going to be a way to pick it back up on playback. But I got good speakers and could maybe filter out some frequencies, play around with the bass and treble and see what that does." I pulled out the notes I'd made. "This is what I picked up so far. Anything I couldn't hear?" I left blank with a question mark. "Can you leave the tape with me? I can take a crack at it when I get home tonight and call you sometime tomorrow." "I'm not sure about that. I swore I'd guard it with my life. I'd hate having to admit I left a tape with you. So don't tell. Someone asks for it back, just give me a call and come up and pick it up." "You're a very devious person, Hector. Aren't we all?" He took the page of notes I'd made and went into the other room to make a photocopy while I waited. I gave him my business card with my home address and phone jotted on the back. By the time I left the studio, Beauty had apparently decided I was part of her pack, though much lower in the pecking order and therefore in need of protection. She very kindly walked me to the stairwell, watching for footsteps to mine, and watched as I went up the stairs and out into the foyer. I peeked back and found her still standing there looking up, her gaze fixed on mine. I said, "Good night, beauty." Pulling out of KSPL parking lot, I caught a glimpse of a lone man on a bike streaking across the intersection. Pretty sure that guy works with whoever's in that limousine and those other two fellas. Freaking biker. He took the corner wide and disappeared from sight, reflectors on his spokes making circles of light. For a moment, I could feel a mounting roar in my ears, darkness gathering as the edges of my vision. I rolled down the window and pulled fresh air into my lungs. A wave of calmness climbed my frame and passed. I pulled into the empty intersection and slowed, peering right, but there was no sign of him. The street lamps receded in a series of diminishing uprights that narrowed to a point and vanished. I headed down to Lower State Street, cruising Danielle's turf. I needed company or a good night's sleep, whichever came first. If I found Danielle, maybe the two of us would buy champagne and orange juice, drink a toast to Lorna just for old time's sake. Then I'd head for home. I pulled into the parking lot at Neptune's Palace and got out of my car. From the far end of the parking lot, the noise level was considerably louder than I'd experienced before. The crowd was boisterous. The side doors were opened onto the parking lot, and a knot of revelers had spilled out. Some guy toppled sideways, taking two women with him. The three of them lay on the asphalt laughing. This was Thursday night trade, nearly manic in its energy, everyone determined to party, gearing up for the coming weekend. Music pounded against the walls, cigarette smoke drifted on the frigid night air in wisps and curls. I heard the shattering of glass, followed by maniacal laughter, as if a genie had been released. I caught sight of a patrol car in the parking lot. The black and whites usually come down here every couple of hours. The beat officer parks and works his way through the place in search of liquor violations and petty criminals. I stilled myself and pushed through the door. I traveled the length of the bar like a fish swimming upstream, scanning the ensemble patrons for Danielle. She'd said she usually started work at 11, but there was always this chance that she'd stop at the bar first to have a drink. There was no sign of her at all, but I did see Berlin on her way to the dance floor. She was wearing a short black skirt and red satin top with spaghetti straps. Her hair was slightly too short for the top knot she affected, so that more seemed to hang down than was secured above. Her earrings were big double rhinestone hoops that glittered and bounced against her neck as she moved. At first I thought she was unaccompanied, but then I saw a fellow pushing through the crowd in front of her. The other bobbing dancers closed around her, and she was gone. I made my way to the front door and checked the parking lot without luck. I fired up the VW and cruised the neighborhood, pausing at all street corners where the hookers hang out. 10 more minutes of this shit, and I was heading home. Finally, I pulled in at the curb, leaned over, and rolled my window down. A rail-thin brunette, wearing a t-shirt, miniskirt, and cowboy boots, separated herself from the wall she was leaning on. She ambled over and opened the door on the passenger side. I could see the puckering of goosebumps on her frail bare arms. "You want company?" She was strung out on something, throwing off that odd crackhead body odor. Eyes kept sliding upward out of focus, like the roll on a TV picture. "I'm looking for Danielle." "Well, hun, Danielle's busy, so I'm covering her act. What you want?" "I can get, and that's an actual fact." "Did she go home?" "It's possible that Danielle has gone back to her place. Give me $10 more and I'll sit on your face." I said, "Rhyming, very nice. Meter's a little off, but otherwise, you're Longfellow." "Baby, don't be strange. You got any change?" "I'm fresh out," I said. "I won't pout." She pushed from the car and sauntered back to her post. I pulled away, hoping I hadn't unleashed a fit of iambic pentameter. It hadn't occurred to me that Danielle might hang out at her place before going to work. I headed up 2 blocks and hung a left, turning into the narrow alleyway where Danielle had her digs. I pulled even with the property and peered through the gap in the shrubs, my gaze moving up the brick walk that led to her door. Her curtains had been drawn, but I could see the glow of lights on the inside. I really had no idea whether she brought John's back to her place or not. It was close enough to the palace to be practical, but there were also a couple of Fleabag hotels in the area, and she might have preferred to take her business there. I saw a shadow pass the window, which seemed to suggest she was on her feet. My car engine chuffed noisily, headlights slicing through the dark like blades. I could feel myself vacillate. She might be alone and glad of company. On the other hand, she might be occupied. I really didn't want to see her in a business context. While I debated, I killed the engine and flicked out the headlights. The alley disappeared in pitch blackness, night insects chirring in the heavy silence. Within a minute, my eyes were accustomed to the dark, and the landscape began to resemble itself in shades of charcoal. I got out of the car and locked it behind me. Maybe I'd knock once. If she was busy, so be it. I felt my way through the alley to the brick wall, holding one hand in front of me lest I stumble over trash cans. I reached her doorstep and cocked my head listening for the sound of voices or canned laughter from a television. I gave a tentative knock. From the other side of the door, I heard low moans, sensuous and repetitive. Uh-oh. I remembered the first trailer I'd moved into after the death of my aunt. Coming in late one summer night, I'd heard a pregnant neighbor woman making sounds like that. Ever the good citizen, I'd gone over to her window, where I'd tapped and asked if she needed help. I thought she was in labor, realizing too late the process I'd interrupted was the one that made babies, not delivered them. Behind me, someone moved out of the shadows near the alley and eased through the shrubs. Leisurely footsteps scritched on the pavement and gradually faded. Danielle's moaning was renewed, and I backed up a step. I stared out the alleyway with puzzlement. Was that her John I'd just seen? I leaned my head against the door. Danielle? No response. I knocked again. Silence. I tried the knob. The hinges made no sound at all as the door swung inward. First, all I saw was the blood. Oh no! Poor chick. She seemed pretty nice for a hooker. Well, we're gonna leave it there on chapter 16. Seems like a perfect place to leave it. So yeah, it's time for music break number 2. When we come back, it's time for a creepy video. And I've got a couple that our friend Adrian has sent us. I might consider that one, or we might watch something else. So we have Jeff Hilliard, my friend from Los Angeles, California, with his song Abandoned, which is a really nice sort of 80s ballad. Then we have Miss Mia Savage with Lemurian Crypto, Your Skeleton and the Bottom Line. And Mia Savage's band is Antidote for Savages. If you want to check her out, please go to, almost said Periscope, Pinterest? Instagram? Yeah, Instagram, and check out Antidote for Savages. It's pretty awesome. Anyways, this break is a little over 19 minutes long. I'll see you back here shortly.
Left here alone, just a shadow of my erection on the wall. Why won't you answer my calls? I gave you
right now between fear and love. Just a choice right now between fear and love.
Uno momento for favor. I had to make the kids noodles and stuff. And I just got back just in time to turn off the last song. There's a hair in my headphones. Hold on. Alright. Welcome back, boys and girls. Thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight we've had story time, Sue Graftons' Tears for Killer. Now we're about to get to our video, which this is by Midwest Ghost Hunter. And I've been blocked before as far as videos, because they're saying, oh no, this is not your words, this is somebody else's. Well, guess what, mofos? YouTube, I did talk to Ian from Midwest Paranormal, and he said it's okay for me to share his videos. Now, let's see what's up with that. Let me go ahead and take this off screen really quick. I did have this loaded up, but maybe there was an issue while I was gone. I do not know. But this is craziest spirit activity ever caught on camera. And this, like I said, is from Ian from Midwest Paranormal. Or Midwest Ghost Hunter, sorry. And yeah, I told him, you know, I really enjoy your work. The things you do are awesome. I'm trying to share this with my listeners. On YouTube, actually blocked the video that I used. YouTube, Ian said I could use this. So, please don't block me, because that would be BS-ery. Anyways, so it looks like we have full towers, but it's being freaking weird. I might have to reset my internet here. Or something else. Because it's just not loading correctly, so let's go ahead and go to the original link instead of the one I have in the office. And let's go from there, shall we? Luckily that didn't take too long. Still loading? Maybe it's working? I do not know. I do not know this is what is happening. Looks like it's buffering, but hey, that's
I
true.
heard this place is supposed to be really haunted. Could you show me what they're talking about? Oh, jeez. I'm already getting second thoughts about staying the.
Oh no. Can we please not do this? Sentry sting. Do not fail me. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo. Full towers, man. What's the dealio? Meat, what's up? Alright, you guys red eye? Holy shnikes, look at these carcasses on the wall.
Night here. If you just threw this ladle, could you throw something else? Oh, holy sh! I was getting a lot of different voices that said stay out of the basement. Oh, holy! That is 100% proof that this place is crazy haunted.
Midwest Ghost Hunter. So I just have to say really quick.
What's up, guys?
You guys, please go over to Ian's channel, Midwest Ghost Hunter. Please subscribe. I can't believe he's only got 65,000 subscribers. That guy's freaking awesome. I don't know if you've watched Franco. He also goes out on his own to different countries, different cemeteries, different abandoned places, and it's freaking awesome. But Ian does a badass job. I'm very proud of what he does. Thank you, Ian, for allowing me to share your videos. Let's continue, shall we?
Midwest Ghost Hunter here, bringing you yet another Ghost Hunting Alone video. This investigation takes place at possibly one of the most haunted bars in the United States. And that bar is the Old Baraboo Inn. This place has a crazy reputation, and I'm going to be investigating all by myself, as always. The Old Baraboo Inn was built in 1864, and it is said the mere construction of the building disturbed pre-existing burial mounds underneath its foundation.
Oh, that's
Could this
not
have been
good.
the beginning of the spiritual unrest here? Throughout the late 1800s and early 1900s, the Baraboo functioned as a tavern and brothel. During this time, many deaths would occur, varying from natural causes, murders, to full-blown shootouts. During Prohibition, it became a mob-run speakeasy and was heavily frequented by gangsters, big and small, including the most notorious of them all, Al Capone. During this time, a lot of heinous assaults and murders would take place behind closed doors, particularly down in the basement, which was used as the mob's killing area. Mob enforcers would typically bring the victim in question to what is called the execution.
I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of places back in the day, when alcohol was illegal and they were bootlegging and doing different things like that, not just this location, many other locations, a lot of gnarly shit went down in the basement. Just thought I'd share that. You probably know that, but...
execution pole, where they would be tortured and ultimately killed. To this day, there are visible bloodstains and bullet holes still riddled all over the pole, despite being repainted numerous times. There are also reports of numerous women being assaulted and murdered down in the basement, along with bodies of numerous victims being buried in the floor below. The inn would eventually be converted into a winery until it tragically burned down in 1988. The building has since been reconstructed and continues to operate as a bar to this day. As you can probably imagine, with such a dark history, this place has quite the haunting reputation. Lights are said to flicker on and off, and objects will move on their own. Phantom honky-tonk piano music has been heard playing from thin air, along with the sounds of disembodied voices and laughter. Doors will open and close with no explanation. Dishes, cups, and utensils will fly off the shelves in the kitchen, and a particular broom has been seen levitating in the air. One of the spirits, believed to be a former building owner, will often mess with employees while they're trying to work. It is said that if you venture into the walk-in cooler and the spirit dislikes you, it will shut the door on you and turn off lights. However, if the spirit actually likes you, it will actually open the door instead, assisting your way out. Another spirit is a lady of the night named Mary. who has been seen roaming and even dancing around the main restaurant and tavern. It is said that Mary mysteriously bled to death sometime in the early 1900s. The private tavern area was once the former protected area for
So I also wanted to add, this video is going to run longer than Spreaker does. So if you want to continue with this, it's Midwest Ghost Hunter, and the name of this video is Craziest Spirit Activity Ever Caught on Camera, which I believe this guy catches all kinds of
Al
crazy
Capone
shit.
and his cronies. It is said that once in a blue moon, Alfonsi's ghost will pay a visit to the old Baraboo, and is reportedly sociable and affable. There is also said to be phantom cowboys who have been seen and heard frequenting the tavern and the back kitchen. Upstairs in the old brothel, there is said to be 3 different phantom ladies of the night still lingering around. Overnight guests have reported hearing ghostly voices calling out from the darkness and long feminine nails clawing at their doors from the other side. However, the darkest and most active area by far is the basement. The atmosphere is reportedly thick and heavy, so much so that many employees refuse to go down there for an extended period of time. Paranormal reports here include being touched or even grabbed by unseen forces, disembodied voices, moans, and cries emanating from vacant rooms, along with sightings of foreboding shadow figures. If you end up enjoying this video, be sure to like it, comment your thoughts down below on anything that goes down here, and also
Please subscribe. Give that bell a little flip. Wait, next time he has a video come out, you're privy to it.
be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my solo ghost hunts. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into the investigation.
Oh, can't wait. Let's go. Let's go, Ian.
Here we are, guys. Baraboo Inn. This place has been on my bucket list for a long time. I got goosebumps even before getting in here. Golly, just look at this place.
Golly gee.
Here goes nothing.
Or something. Here goes something. Not nothing.
And now suddenly, the silence is deafening.
So I was just wondering if you guys heard that. At first I thought it was like background music, but it sounded like when he came in, something was hitting the keys on the piano. I don't know if that was background music because it wasn't playing for a while. Now it starts. But it was like ding, ding, ding. So I don't know if that was background stuff or if that actually happened.
Hello?
Hello?
Is anyone in here with me?
I'm here.
Gosh. That's a
What the heck
mannequin
is that?
over there.
Ugh.
Just what I need.
No
Another
thanks.
haunted place with scary mannequins.
Hey, mannequins.
Are there any spirits hanging out at this bar tonight?
Honestly,
I heard this place is supposed to be really haunted. Could you show me what they're talking about? The stories of strange things happening? I'd like to see it for myself. Is there anybody here that could do that for me?
hello.
Oh,
Oh,
that sound came from over there.
yeah. I was looking for a dartboard, but there's not one.
That scared me.
Creepy.
Hello? If that was you,
You're so brave.
could you make that sound again?
Oh man, looks like he's shaking a little.
Oh, jeez.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, I'm hearing all kinds of weird sounds in here. Who's making noise? Could you speak to me?
So creepy.
I've got goosebumps all up and down my arms. I feel like I'm being watched. Holy crap.
Probably are. I'm being honest.
What's your name? Speak to me in this red light. Here in my hand. It's a voice recorder. That'll record your voice. I promise it won't harm you in any way.
You're so awesome.
I heard some
I love
noises
that.
earlier.
That frame edit.
If that was you, and you're a spirit that haunts this place, could you touch that green light right there? I heard that some cowboys hanging around here. Some rough and tough individuals. Do you have any issues with me being here? If so, touch the green light. No response there, so that's good.
Yeah.
Is anybody at this bar drinking tonight? Yes. Whoa. Okay, now I'm getting spikes. How many spirits haunt this place? Is it over 10? Yes.
Ooh, that's crazy.
How about 20? What? No way.
What?
20 freaking spirits?
Well, I don't know.
Out of your mind?
Yeah,
If
that's
that is
crazy.
true, that is unbelievable. I heard that there was gunfights here. Is anybody here that passed away from a bullet? Yes. Whoa. What year did that happen? Was it the early 1900s? The late 1800s? Ooh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, thank you for telling me that. That is
That's
fascinating.
pre-mafia.
Although I am sorry for your luck. It's unfortunate that you passed away that way. Or perhaps a breaking
That's
range.
bad luck,
I
buddy.
don't know. Depends how you look at it. Could you tell me that? Whoa. What the f was that?
What was that?
I swear to God, I just
Replay?
saw something
What
over
the
there.
fuck was that? And then there was a shadow that moved. What the crack?
Hello?
What's going on? It looked like someone's shoulders. Now it's peeking back out again.
Is anybody down there? Was that a spirit I just saw? Yes.
It was.
Whoa, dude, it just confirmed that I just saw something. That's freaking crazy. Who did I just see?
Freaking awesome. Look at that
Is
shadow.
it a man?
What the crack? What the crack is going on?
Yes. Whoa. The communication I'm getting in here is insane.
Intelligent for
I think
sure.
I'm gonna go over there where I saw the shadow. I want to see who's over there. Oh boy. I'm already getting second thoughts about staying the full night here. I have to do it, guys. I haven't even gone to the basement yet. That is the area I'm dreading the most. Hello? Who's over here? Could you tell me your name?
Oh, it's upside down cowboy hat. I'm like, is that a toilet
I'd
seat?
feel a little
No,
better
it's
if I knew your name.
Wide brim.
There's literally nobody in here. So then the question is, who did I just see? I hope I caught it on camera. I don't know if I did. I don't even know if I had to point it.
I think I saw it. Still video. So this is Mike's camera. Just stationary. Oh shit, did you see that? Oh man. That's intense. Oh wow. Very cool. What was that? I don't know if you guys saw that. It was like a light. It could have been coming through the window or something, but...
Alright. Time to check out the kitchen.
Check it out.
Employees say there's a lot of activity in here. Hello? Is anyone back here? My name is Ian. Could you tell me your name? Maybe I should try to take some pictures. If there's anyone in here, could you show yourself?
The ice
What
machine.
the f*** was that?
Whoa.
Hello? Oh, holy shit! Oh my god, something just got thrown. What the hell was that? Look at that.
It's a ladle.
What the f*** is that? Oh my god, that's
It's a
like
ladle.
a spoon. It's on the floor. Like, how is that even possible? I don't know. I don't know how to explain any of this. Everything that is happening to me right now is far beyond what I was expecting from this place. I'm hearing noises, seeing freaking figures, and now stuff's getting thrown.
That's crazy.
If you just threw this ladle, could you throw something else? Oh my god, I just saw a face. Looks like a man's face. Just looking right at me and he bolted away.
Rewind.
I feel like I'm
I
going
wanna see
crazy
it.
right now. What the hell did I just see? It was like a floating face, like right here. All I could see was his face. It looked like he had like some facial hair, like a middle-aged man with facial hair. I saw it right here. He was intently staring at me, and then boom,
Go
it
back?
disappeared off this way. As you can
I missed
see,
it.
there's nobody.
Man,
There's
I wish I
nobody
could
in
go
here.
back. I didn't see it. I missed it.
Sheesh, man, it nearly gave me a heart attack seeing that. Sir,
Seriously.
I just seen you. I know you're in here.
You guys,
Throwing
I'm
stuff,
tempted to go
making
back.
noises.
Seriously.
It's okay. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want.
Sorry, guys. I have to go back because I didn't see that. And I want to see it. Sorry.
If you just threw this ladle, could you throw something else? Oh my god, I just saw a face. Looks like a man's face. Just looking right at me and he bolted away. I feel like I'm going crazy right now. What the hell did I just see? It was like a floating face, like right here. All I could see was his face. It looked like he had like some facial hair, like a middle-aged man with facial hair. I saw it right here. He was intently staring at me, and then boom, it disappeared off this way. As you can see, there's nobody. There's nobody in here. Sheesh, man, it nearly gave me a heart attack seeing that. Sir, I just seen you. I know you're in here. Throwing stuff, making noises. It's okay. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want, as a matter of fact. So thank you. Thank you for throwing things, and that sounds like a weird thing to be thankful for, but oh my gosh, I still got chills. Oh, I'm just scared something else is going to get thrown.
What is happening? Oh, like on the shelf there? Oh, yeah, I saw that. Weird. wonder what's in that box. What's in there? Alright. That's crazy. What's in that box? Damn you, Century Stink! Sorry guys, my internet really freaking sucks.
Alright, so next I'm gonna check out the private tavern.
I'm sorry, sister.
This is where Al Capone and his cronies used to hang out. Al Capone, are you in here?
Al Capone or Capronis?
Or any mobsters? Or maybe perhaps I should say businessmen?
Yes.
Al, I heard your spirit still visits this place. Is that true? Could you make a noise in here if that's true? Are there any other notorious gangsters still hanging around here? Oh God, holy moly, I just heard a freaking whisper behind me. That sounded like a man. Hello? Who goes there? Could you speak again? I keep hearing whispering.
Oh, Al, okay. I see.
Is there anybody here that still plays pool?
Probably not. He might be in his bougie prison cell. He had a pretty nice one, to be honest.
Alright, I'm gonna try a spirit box session. If there's any spirits in this bar that'd like to speak to me, I have a device that you can speak through. It's a spirit box. It's a device that can make it easier for you to speak. Al Capone, are you here? Good evening. What? You just said good evening. No freaking way. Am I speaking to Al Capone right now? If it is, thank you for speaking to me. Whoa. Okay, I heard another voice come through. How many gangsters are here? 0.
Okay, I have to say, you have this box, which is a PSB11, which gives you 2 different stations. It not only does, forward, backwards, 2 channels at the same time, but it also has a temperature gauge. Being that as it may, I don't really like the S or the PSB11. I like the PSB7. To me, that's the best ghost box, I would say.
That man just said 0. I don't know. That sounds like something a gangster might say. Stay out. It just said stay out. Stay out of where? Basement. It just said basement.
Yeah, don't go down there.
I don't want to go down there now. Hell no. Why shouldn't I go down there? What? I don't know what he just said right there. Whoa, guys. I'm getting a lot of different voices coming through right now. It literally sounds like a full house in here. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Come on, honey, come on, baby, come on, ragtime again.
Alright, it's been silent for a while. I think I'm gonna end it. Holy crap.
I'm not as brave as you.
I was getting a lot of different voices on that spirit box. I'm mostly concerned with that one that mentioned the basement. It said stay out of the basement. What could that mean? What am I going to be in for?
Stay the fuck out of the basement.
I don't want to go down there. I really don't.
I'd be totally creeped out, dude. Let's play some pool. If this was the X camera, what's gonna happen? What's happening? Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my
We haven't explored around back here much yet. Gosh, it seems like it doesn't matter where you go in here. Just every area has activity.
Right?
Who knows what's going to pop up next?
Tell you what. Sounded like a door closed.
What the hell was that?
Door closed?
It sounded like it came from in here.
Yeah, it was like clack.
Bathroom.
Clack. Clackety clack.
Hello?
Oh my god, it was the bathroom. Weird.
Anyone in here?
Play around in the bathroom. Weird. Who knows what it used to be back in the day?
I don't know what that was. Guess it could have been anything. Who knows? If that was you, could you make that sound again? If not, I'm just going to assume it was nobody. And maybe I'm just going crazy. I don't know.
Crazy. Was that the door? It sounded
See what
like
this
a
door
female's
leads
voice,
to.
too.
Might be the kitchen again. Holy shit. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. That was that same freaking noise again. I literally just heard it again.
It's a freaking door, dude.
What the hell was that?
First sound was a door. That sound sounded
that?
like... Oh,
That looks different.
I think that's it.
Wait.
I
I don't remember that towel being out like that.
Me neither. You think, wait,
I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't know.
can you go back and check? See? That is so freaking weird. Seriously?
Was it this
Here you
thing
go.
here?
Here's some paper towels.
Yeah, that is the noise. That's the noise I just heard. Oh my god. That is really freaky. How the hell can you explain that? That is unexplainable straight up, because that is a manual towel dispenser. It's not like the motion sensor ones where you just wave your hand in front of it. There is a spirit in here literally pulling that lever. If that was you...
I have a theory on that, and, you know, a lot of things happen in bathrooms, so it could be the spirit of Mills Post. I don't know. Creepy.
Could you pull that lever again? You would blow my mind if you did that right now. That's undebunkable. I got nothing.
Undebunkable.
Literally
Seriously.
nothing.
It's not like the
no
motion
way that could
activator or
happen
whatever. You
on
have
its
to
own.
push the lever.
I'm going to give you one last chance to do something. Here's your opportunity.
It's not going to do it while you're
Just
there.
imagine if I caught that on camera right now.
Could you imagine?
All right.
If you put a static camera in there.
Thank you.
He did put a static cam.
Imagine seeing
That is creepy AF, dude.
this lovely
What the
lady
fuck is that about?
walking around here.
Hello, gorgeous.
I would piss
How you
myself
doing?
running out of this place. That is what I would do. This is a cool room in here. Check that out.
What? Is this like a seance room or something? What the
Secret
fuck is
area.
this? What the hell is this? What is this for? I don't get
Cool in
it.
here. Abnormally cool.
Cool. Freaking weird.
There's someone in here?
Is Is this like the back room where they used to play poker and shit, or what?
My name is Ian.
Hi, Ian.
And, I heard that there's a spirit named Mary here. I heard something horrible happened. Could you tell me? What happened to you?
My eyes have been really dry lately.
Were you murdered?
It kind of hurts.
Could you speak into this red light here?
Oh, shiz.
I just want to learn your story and figure out why you're still here.
Right? Wow, look at that.
Whoa, I just got something weird over here.
Freaking awesome, dude. It's like an
Oh my
orb, but you
gosh,
can
it's
see the
gone
tail
now.
coming off
It was
of
like
it.
a freaking mist. Something over there. I'll take a bunch of more photos. See if I can get it again.
You should. Yeah, keep trying.
Could you appear like that again? If that was you?
Keep going, fella.
I think I may have just seen you in a photo.
That is intense. Ghost orb? No orb.
Mary, if that was you, could you speak to me, please? I really want to get to know you. Could you appear in that mirror right there?
Oh no. What'd she say?
What? I just heard like a woman's voice in here.
Oh shit. That is not good. Not a good sign at all.
Thank you, Mary. Whoa, what? What?
Mary, may I?
Dude,
Holy shit.
something just bumped this. I'm standing way over here. There is no way I could have bumped that.
That's crazy, dude. Man, that's insane. Weird.
What in the world? That is so crazy. I literally just saw that with my own eyes.
That is so crazy.
It's almost as if she's just like tapping, like just like that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mary. If that was indeed you, could you bump it again? Just like you did.
Bump it. Could you imagine if she just punched it? Punch.
This room is giving me serious chills. I am definitely going to be leaving a camera in here.
You should, dude. It's moving again! Did you see that? What the crack? That's so weird. So this is the X camera. Sorry, my left eye is so dry, it hurts. I so wish she said bloody dress, like why?
Next stop, the basement. Oh my goodness.
Are you serious? You really gonna go down there? Aww.
Yes, Ian. Yes. You have to go
Yeah,
down there.
Ian.
Okay.
Oh my god. Also,
There's some
still
steep stairs.
freaking me out, dude.
Hello?
Fuck that. Hey, baby child.
Anyone down here? Okay, I literally just stepped down here. I'm already hearing noises.
I heard that too.
Is there somebody making noises over there?
Could be.
Oh my god, it feels so different down here. It feels heavy down here. I feel a pit in my stomach.
Damn.
Oh, oh Jesus Christ.
Are you freaking serious? What was that?
Is
What's
that?
happening? Okay, so
Hello?
that's an ice machine? What the fuck is that? Why is there
Who's making noise down here?
Is that
Oh my
like
gosh.
a night vision camera or
I don't
something?
want to go around this corner.
Oh, no, it's
See
a
that
night
security
vision camera
camera?
that he has.
If Fred sees it. But look,
Oh, so that is a security camera. Why would they have
This is
that
what I
in the
see.
basement? Wow, dude.
pitch black.
Nope, not doing it. Not doing it.
Unless I'm using my flashlight, I can't see a damn thing.
You're so brave, Ian. You don't even know how you do it.
This is where those noises were coming from. Is anyone down here?
If the chair just spin around really quick. That'd be creepy.
Thought I may have heard some sounds. If that was you, could you make another sound? Right here. This is that freezer. The walk-in cooler they talk about.
You go in there, make sure there's a
do I
button
go
to
in
get
there?
out, because, you know,
I hope I
there's
don't
gonna
get
be
locked in.
ghosty.
If I do.
Exactly. Look for a push-out button where you can. Okay, so it's not very good. Yeah, it's interesting. Mics are limited.
Is anyone in here? What? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. What the
What the frick?
dude? The door just shut. Please don't be locked. Please don't be locked. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Thank
what
God.
buttons for.
It didn't shut all the way.
How was it supposed to stay open?
Dude, this thing just shut on me. That's not even possible. Wait. Look.
Yeah.
Wait. I guess it just shuts.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, God.
There's a vacuum in there.
I guess it just shuts like that. That's perfectly explainable right there. Let's try it again.
Let's take another try. Yeah, seriously.
See, look.
Those doors are pretty heavy, so...
It just shuts on its own.
My
Okay, just to try it one more time, I'm going to open it up all the way.
Alright, you do that. Come on, man, let's do this.
Put it up against the wall there. Now let's see if it'll shut. Now as far as the light, this is the light switch here. And as you can see, you have to flip that switch to shut those lights off. So, I don't know how to explain that one, but perhaps the door phenomenon can be considered debunked.
Something like a phenomenon. Alright guys, let's go over here to the speaker really quick and talk to my peeps. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I'm so glad you could join me for story time and this awesome video by Midwest Ghost Hunter. Ian is amazing. Super freaking brave. I couldn't even do what he does. Like, it's insane. It's intense. YouTube, like I said, I have permission from him to use his videos. He's like, just tell him I gave you a really good opportunity. I'm like, well, thanks. Thanks so much. But yes, thank you so much for hanging out with me and being here. And I hope you guys have an awesome week. I hope you don't work too hard. And yeah, night night, love and light. Just remember, we're all in this together. Together we can make the world a bit better. And together, my friends, we are Paradox Media, because without you, there is no us. I'm so grateful for you guys. You guys blow me away. Stay strong. Look out for each other and take care of my ears. I'll see you back here next weekend. We have Psychic Chris Garcia on Saturday. Man, I'm being called to do security, but I really don't want to because Chris was supposed to be on the 4th, but he rescheduled for the 18th. And I'd hate to reschedule again. Like, that would really suck. Anyways, thank you so much once again for hanging out with me and listening to my shenanigans. Take care of my ears. See you soon.